We're on page Samach Zayin, in the middle of discussing the fact that Shabbos is a stolen avodah sodom. So he started saying that it was in the process of this, explaining the difference between Pesach and the other Yom Shabbos, is started saying Kol Hamoedim Shabbos Hagilim El Mailo Al Dersos Elasat. Then he asked the question that we know that Shabbos Mekatsher V'Kaimer. It says in Gemara that Shabbos comes in on its own. So he brought a few sources to show that even by Shabbos we find it's stolen avodah sodom. Number one, that when a person is lost in the desert, he can count his own 6 days. I mean, he creates the Shabbos. Then there's a two psukim. One pasuk is Zohar Sema Shabbos L'Katshe, that it's our act, we make it holy. Then it says Shom of Neisas Shabbos, Asis Shabbos. So how do you reconcile these two sources, the two types of sources? Well, it's Shom, it says Uksiv Lasis Shabbos, which is I think 10, a little more than 10 lines from the top. So you already learned that talking about Shabbos, the fact that Shabbos Mekatsher V'Kaima, what happens to Shabbos on its own? So Shabbos is the seventh. Shabbos is the seventh from the bottom. When you start, we encounter 6 midas. Chesed, Yisrael. The one on top of them is Bina. So the Gila of Bina, that comes on its own. That comes Mekatsher V'Kaima. The Eibishter does it on its own. Mashkas of L'Katshoy, that's the Avodah is L'Katshoy. Oh, am Shachas when it's a Chach Mashnik Kodesh. When it's making the Abish Al Mishtashas. So in other words, what we add to our Avodah is a higher level of Gila. No,
but I'm sorry, it's saying there's a 6 midot. So how is it that Bina?
Bina is the 7th.
No, I'm saying that's what doesn't, when it says 6, doesn't it start from Chachma?
What? 6 Bina is the 7th is Bina. That's what the Eibishter makes it. Then there's Amshacha from a higher level, Chachma, that's to our Avodah.
I'm saying the 6 midot, isn't it? Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Nesahot, Chachma, Bina, as it start from Chachma.
6 minutes doesn't start from Chachma. 6 minutes starts from Chesed. Chesed to Yisrael, the 6.
Okay.
Chesed go to first, Netzach Yisrael. And that's the 6 days. Then we add a 7th, that's Bina, and that is Mekatsher V'Kaima, Mitzadatzim. Then there's a higher Gilui, to Avodah Sodom, there you get the Gilui from Chachma.
Thank you.
So that's one way to explain it. Now the other said, "Kamei Kain, ba'avodah the Shabbos, and the avodah of Shabbos Gufa, the level of Gilui of Shabbos that's to the avodah Mato." Or Avodas on Shabbos, that's when it's San Galavai. But on Shabbos, the Neshama is delighting in the godliness, the San Galavai. It says in Pasuk, in Tosha Shabbos Haglecha, it says Chavtav in Kodeshi, Osti San Galavai. It's a Pasuk in Yeshaya. So we see that Shabbos means Taina Galavai, but that means that to avoid Mamshach Taina, that's a higher level. So this is the higher level of, in addition to the Mekatsher V'Kaima, but this is Shabbos on its own, that's Bina, and then there's a higher level, which is the Gilui of the Mashach of Chachma, Shema'al Mishtashlos, that's like a schar in the Avodah of Shesh Zemechel. So the Hagavi says, he brings in another third level in Shabbos. Later he'll talk about it, but he brings it in right there. And there's a third level. So the first level is Mekatsher V'Kaima, there's the Amshach of Bina. So Bina is Mekatsher V'Kaima, it means it comes on its own through the Avodah, it comes on its own no mile. Then there's a Torah Avodah Yimamshich, there's Chachma, which is a Malam Shtash. Yes, it says in the parentheses, Yes, Prinas, Matana Teva, the Shabbos, Malam Prinas Lasis. There's even a higher level that it's also Matana. The Gemara says in the Shabbos, Omar, because Moshe Matana Teva Yeshli Bevez Gnoze Shabbos Shmo. The Shabbos is called Matana. So if you remember in the Maimah before, we learned that Matan Torah is called Matana because Matana is something which is unearned, above the Avodah Sodom. So that's the level of Matana. The Prince that's Shabbos, the Prince of Sheshach. It's true that last is Shabbos is Mamshech from Chachma, which is above Ishtash, unlike Bina. Like I can explain in other places, the difference between Chachma and Bina. Bina is these binders that brings the latest Hamidus. It's called Shaykh Lishtashlis. Mashenkin Chachma is the Baal Kamavri. It's above Ishtashlis. But even though it's above Ishtashlis, still, it says, Shaykh Lishtashlis. There is some kind of connection. That's there's a higher level, a third level. It brings it in here, right here in this flow, when we're up to now, is not so negeya. But later we'll see how that is that's negeya to hemshach inyan. Later we'll see that. Koponim. So what is he saying here? That matan is kos hashavas ein plus asanagavai alavai, which kos B'day Shapseisa Shalei Nitfas. There's a Maimah Shapseisa from Alter Rebbe, which was not printed because the Torah. So the way the Rebbe Rashab calls it, Shapseisa Shalei Nitfas. But in nowadays, the Rebbe printed everything. That's already printed somewhere. I don't know. It's not where, but it's printed somewhere else. The point is that Shabbos has the level of Tainuk, which is above. Going back to the original discussion, the last is Shabbos of Shachar Chachma. The Zayin in Shabbos, Hashem Kivay Shavas. So he's going back to the original point that the Gilui of Shabbos is a result of our Avodah. So how does it look Lamaila? So what's it saying Shabbos? It's saying Kiddush. Kivosh, say Kivosh Shavas, we call Malachta Shabbat Gimlasis. So say Shabbat Shavas. Shavas means he rested. Rest is a concept that is a result. It's a continuation of the hard work and effort. If there's no work, there's no need to rest. So resting is a continuation and a result of the avodah. Right? That's in the concept of resting. So that's obviously a mushroom. It's similar to when we're talking about the Giluim that happen on Shabbos, they considered resting the Achas to the Avodah from before. It means it's a continuation. It's a result. The Noida Be'inin HaShvisa, now more specifically, Chassidus explains what does Shvisa mean? Chassidus explains whenever a person does something and he rests from it, what happens then? These koiches, these attributes, these abilities that he expressed through his action, when he rests, they go back, they ascend back to their source. So the same thing, so that's the meaning of shvisa, of resting. That's what it says in Zayah, that Shmaila Shabbat, which means Friday night, the elements are Eilish, Eilish, Kala Barum, the Apach Mitzot, Shavah, Mishesh Simei Achel. Akach Yam Shocha, B'Shav Tadiyim. So there's, it brings in this concept, it fits what it says earlier, that there's Shabbos night, that's the first Madrega of the result of our Veda. Then Shabbos day, there's a higher Gilui, then the Atika Kadisha, then I'm Shacham El Mailo. Upon it, they finish discussing a Shabbos is connected to the Giluim of Shabbos, not all of them, but some of the Giluim of Shabbos are a result of our Avodah of Yimei Chai. Similar to that happens every year. Yes, Prince Aliyas Ilamis. So it's not a tefillah. They say, in the other, it says B'chol Yom Tov. There's only 3 Yomim Tovim. So So it Pesach is out. We want to see the Pesach between the others. What are the other Tovim Tovim? Shavuos and Sukkot. So in the other Tovim Tovim, Shavuos and Sukkot, we also find that the Giluim, the Aliyah elements of Shavuos and Sukkot, is a result of it's a Avodah. Aliyah means we are oil with our own, to our own effort, and as a result of that, we have the Giluim of Shavuos. So where do we see it? Kamoy b'Shavuos, what happens Shavuos? Shavuos says, Nimsham Nizgala Prinas Era Kesser. The Yom Tov Shavuos is a time with the Giluim of Era Kesser. Says Shavuos, we read ourselves at Dibos, the Giluim of Necha Vayelekech. Ari Oil, so Ari Oil is the last month, it's still the same. That Gili of Necha Vayelekech is a result in a continuation of the Avodah of a last man, which means the ascent of the feminine waters, which means the Avodah Milamat. Sfir Seimer, the whole Sfir Seimer is a Achanat Shavuos, which costs this for Chamishim Yom. So that's Marumas and what it says. In other words, even the Gili of the Eira Kesa, which is above Ishtarshalos, is also a result of our Avodah. So that's Marumas and what it says. This for Chamishim Yom. We don't count 50, we only find 49. Shiva Shavuos. So how does it fit? So what does it say? That Yadua, שזה מבחינת שער הנון. The 50 Yom, the 50, the number 50 is Marames of the Gil of Sha'ar Nun. Says 50 Sha'ar bin Nirva Ba'elam. In the 50th Sha'ar, he connects the Chochmah and Bina. Now the Bina has 49 stages, right? There's the lowest stage and then higher and higher till 49. The 50th stage of Bina is so high that it connects Bina to Chochmah. It means it's Bina touches Chochmah. But what gives the Bina the power, the ability to connect to Chochmah? That's a gift from something that's above both of them. Gil of Pnei Keser. The Gil of Pnei Keser gives Bina the ability to connect to Chochmah. Like it says in other places that we have to connect two opposites. We need a power above them. So in our case, the Sha'ar Nun is a members of the Gil of Kesef. Who are Gil of Chag HaShavuos Yom HaNun? So the Gil of Chag HaShavuos, which is Yom HaNun, the 50th day. What Gil is it? It's the Gil of Sha'ar Nun, which is Kesef. So that Gil is a result of our counting. The 50th day itself is stuck and not reached to our Avodah because it's above Avodah. It's also real. We cannot reach it. Still, how do we get the Gil of the Nun Milamayla to the Akdama, to the preparation of the Avodah of the 49 days? So we see here in Shavuos that the Gil of Milamayla is a result of Avodah Adam. Again, so similar to what we said Shabbos. So Shabbos, the Gil comes to our Avodah. So we find the same thing in Shavuos. Similar situation in Sukkot also. Number one, in Shachman is makif in the Kessel. Sukkah is the fact we sit in the Sukkah. The Sukkah surrounds us. The Schach surrounds us. So it says in Kabbalah, what does it mean? It's a remes of makif in the Kessel. Okay. We always know it's makif in the Bina. But in this case, that detail is not that relevant. Even makif in the Bina, the source is in Kessel. But so it says in Kabbalah that the Sukkah is nimshach makif in the Kessel. It's b'yimina tachapkeini. So the chibuk is makif, like hugging, something from the outside. That's a reference in the concept of chibuk, of makif. But how does it go? The Avodah is just not true. This immediate, the feeling of sukkah doesn't come on its own automatically or out of the blue. It's a result it's a continuation of the Avodah of Sesame Tshuva. Fatim Kippur. In the Sesame Tshuva, the specific gilui of the Schach of Sukkah is a result of the ultimate of the final act of the Sesame Tshuva, which is Yom Kippur, and the end of it, by Ne'ilah. Shesh Aliyah Koloris de Ne'ilah Yom Kippur says that Ne'ilah of Yom Kippur is the gilui of is the highest Aliyah. Shamalchus El Madrigal Inim Oid. Malchus ascends to a very high level. So in the time of the end of Me'il, it's also the Gil of Pnimis HaKesef. Shezeni Achaysim Ne'ilam, and Shamalchus Kabel Mis'eg was the Atik Bali Yosef Misdikna the Arif of Ne'il. It says in Kabbalah that what happens, it's a description of a certain type of gilui that happens in the end of Ne'ilah. Malchus is oila to dikna the Arich Hanpin, oila in the madrega of the beard of Arich Hanpin, which we learned in other places is connected to the Gilui Midas Rachmin. That's why we say, remember, in Ne'ilah over there we say the Gilui Midas Rachmin in the Musaf, in the Chazal Hashatz of Ne'ilah. We say all period, because that's the ultimate gilui, and that Mekabel was Egvor is the Atik, which is even above. Gilui Sarachim, that's an Arich, that's Dikna the Arich, that's called the beard of Arich. But to that, Malchus Mekabel was Egvor is the Atik, which is even higher. And that's more, I think that's more what we say, Avai Ho Elikim, because Elikim is the word. But Al Kaponim, V'nimshach, the point is that this what happens in Kippur is there's Avodah Tshuva. It's our own Avodah. We work out whole in Sesame Tshuva, and the ultimate, the latest, not the latest, the finale of the Tshuva of the Sesame Tshuva is in Kippur, the end of Kippur, Aliyas HaMalchus. So that level, Achagav is Gaz Lamat Achagav Sukkot. Shezeu Inyan Bakesel Yom Chagein. So that high level of makif that we reached to our Avodah in Yom Kippur, that eventually is expressed begilui and sukkot. And that's Marumas in another pasuk, Bakesel Yom Chagein. So Phyllis explains, Bakesel means hidden, whatever is hidden in the Sesame Tshuva is expressed, is Misgalel Yom Chagein, which is sukkot. Is that pasuk? Talks about, the simple pshat, again, so there's a few levels of pshat here. First is the pasuk talks about Rosh Hashanah, like the Gemara says, Eizo Chag, how do we know the pasuk talks about Rosh Hashanah? It says, Bakesel Yom Chageinu, Eizo Chag, Shachedesh Miskasaboy, what Yom Tov? Is a Yom Tov where the moon is hidden, there's a mile. The only one Yom Tovim we have that happens on the first day of the month is Rosh Hashanah. So that's a simple pasuk pshat. Simple. It's also not simple. There's even a simpler pshat, but that's what the Gemara pshat. Chassidus says more that bakesa, that whatever is bakesa, whatever is hidden in the Sesame Tshuva is misgalal yom chagein. That's more detailed, more different ramis. The Noida, then he brings another source, what we just said, that what we said, that whatever is for all the Geluim that reach to the Avodah of Tshuva in Yom Kippur is eventually expressed in Sukkot. Noida, the clothes, and Schach HaSukkah me'anan HaKtorah is the Tshuva de Yom Kippur. It says in Kabbalah, it's, Bichlal Schach, Sukkah says Shafti, Anane HaKoved Hoyu. But it says in Kabbalah that the Schach HaSukkah is really a continuation of the Anan HaKtoros. It says by Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and he was maktik teres, v'chisa anana teres kaperes. It says in the Kriya of Shachas in Kippur, Achre in Pashas Achre. So that onon, that cloud, is transformed. It's expressed through the schach of Sukkot. So what do we see? Okay, so we finish with that. So what do we see from all this? That Sukkah, is the yontif of Sukkah is really a continuation, a result of the Avodah Sodom. Aseres Mitzvah. Aseres Mitzvah is totally is mamash is also the Sabbath. The whole 10 days, we are invested in doing tshuva, in doing things with matal. So what do we see from what we just said about Shavuos and Sukkot? The Chol HaMoed, the Moedim, all these high, these Shachas of Likus that we experience in the Moedim, they come from a very high level. Like we said, the Shavuos is a Neichi Gilei HaKesef, and the Sukkot is also Makif in the Kesef. The way it works is that first there is a last man, there is a Avodah Milmata. There's our own investment in Avodah Milmata from the bottom, from our stand, and by the Zeo Amshach. That causes the Amshach. Neida, it is known Bichlal. He says the Amshach above, B'sibas Alas Man, any Amshach Milmaila that comes as a result of the Allah's man of our own avodah. So the Amshach, the energy, the draw of energy that occurs is l'fiach Allah. It depends on the level of the avodah. The harder you work, the better the Amshach is. U'kamoy, it means a lie. Dogma. Talmid amachtim esrabay, shelafia even shelos akach yetshuvas. The Gemara says there's a concept called Talmid amachtim esrabay. A student that makes his teacher wise. What does it mean? If the student is very smart, he asks better questions, and that makes the teacher come up with deeper answers. So we see in that scenario how the avodah milmat, which is the questioning, the fact that the student questions, that causes a higher level of answer. So we see that the Allah, the shail of the rabbi, the question, I'm sorry, shail of the Talmud that as the Rav, shail of the student as the teacher, that according to the level of the question, that's the level of the answer. Like there is an expression, fin effect as the amphitment. Not exactly the same point, but the general idea is that through the matter to the questioning, you reach it. Depending on the questioning, the answer is a different level. So we see here how the law, the Amshach depends on the halal. That in addition to that, the Gemara of Talmud also means a pasuk to prove this point. Eibishter's kindness should occur upon us like we hope, like we wish. What does it mean? The Allah's man, according to that level that we wish, we yearn. Now, to our avodah, the Amshach Milamayla, the Chesed, the Chesed of Hashem Aleinu will be L'Fi'er the Yichalnu. B'chein, there's another pasuk in Mal Hashem called Mishal Yisefer. That the Eibishter fulfilled what we asked. So it all depends what we asked. Ukemoy, another pasuk, Ya'aneinu b'yem kohen. It's interesting. It chooses to bring these three psukim to prove that the Gilim and Mal is totally an avodah. but the concept is understood. Now it goes a step further. The fact is that when a person does his avodas, also sat, what we call a lost man, there are various levels. Not every person does the same level, and even the same person, not every time. The avodah fluctuates. That's not always the same level. Since we just established that the gilim ilamayla is dependent on the avodah ilamato, that means that it's just like there's various levels in the avodah, so there's also various levels in the amshach ilamayla. Lolas amshach zu, more generally speaking, this amshach that's a result of our avodah, you have to say inside. What level of likud do we reach our avodah? Only chitzonius, only the external. It's a type of oil that is on the level of the social sat. If you come to a teacher who is willing to teach you, so then he asks the time and asks him a question, he answers an answer. What happens if it's a teacher who is he lives in his own bubble, he lives in a different world, and he can't approach him. He's not approachable. Then your questioning is not going to make a difference. So the fact that this questioning could affect the amshacha shows us that it reaches the level in the teacher that's in the mashal, obviously, or the level of Milo no mashpia is the fi'er makabel. It's not the essence of the mashpia. Since it's the level of gili that's only a result of the amshach milamato, that law milamato cannot reach the atzmius, not reach the essence. It can only reach that aspect of the mashpia which relates to the makabel, that is the chitzonius of the mashpia. All this is a marshal. We're talking about the Moedim. So going back to our original concept that is discussing here, that the Moedim, the Yamim Tovim of Shavuos and Sukkos, like again, it repeats the same thing, what we just said. That both of them is a special gili, doing the year, doing the Ma'aseh Chayil. We receive from the Eivishter, we receive from Malikus, the energy which is a fair Shtashlus. Comes to Mayadim is a special gili. L'mayla Mishtashlus. They said earlier, gili of Nechi of Kesser, the Makifin of Sukkah. Oh, but Ma'achash the Akdamas Aveda Tchila, since even that Aveda Gila Shalman Shtashas is a result of the Aveda Tchila, like we said earlier, is a total, but now academics. So it depends, the level of Gila depends on the Aveda that precedes it. The Gila, if we get on Yom Tov, is the Aveda of the person who did the Aveda. That's now he says something which it's a statement. Gila likuz b'kol echad misal b'yom tov fe'ach medrigos. I'm afraid na lost ishmos. I mean, we can understand in a simple manner also that every person and Yom Tov is supposed to be a time of Gila Shemal Mishtashlos. But we see that not everybody gets this equal dose. Some people get a very high level of inspiration and Yom Tov, and some people less. Because of Pshat, because it depends on the preparation. If the person's avodah, let's say the first aimer was proper, then he experiences a shvuah. It's a higher level of gilut. Same thing, sukkahs after semitrue. Because somebody said we learned that that's why it's called mayade. That's lashon rabim. Interesting deal. Shenoida v'nizgala v'kol chad v'chad from shiur delay. So it's plural because it's not a one type of gilui. It's plural based on the from shiur delay. Each individual gets it according to his level, according to his level of preparation. Aval b'Pesach, Pesach is a different ballgame. Pesach is different. It is mitzayim b'poel mamish. There was actually Tzias Mitzrayim, the entire Jewish people left. Not only the entire Jewish people, not only all the Eden of that generation. They took us out. So because everybody experienced Tzias Mitzrayim equally, because this is a Gilam Elamayla, it's not dependent on Avodah Zarah. But now, in the parentheses, he interestingly, he shows even that aspect that we find in Pesach, there is something similar that happens on Shavuos and Sukkot also. What does he say? There is a certain similarity. Shavuos to Yitzias Mitzrayim, which is equal with everybody, it says, the so that's equal to everybody. The Pasuk Zamasan says in Gemara, "Ba Nachash al Chavarit v'itil bazorma." The Nachash put in the Chava a certain zorma, which means dirt, and then B'matan Torah Pasuk Zamasan. That thing went away. That's equal in everybody. So he basically says that Shavuos also has an aspect which is similar to Yitzias Mitzrayim. And another, that's one thing. And then another thing is he brings three things, and we see that Shavuos does have also that aspect. So number one is Pascha Zamos. Number two, it says in the Shulchan Aruch, when we say in Daven, when the Eibishter chooses us from all the nations, says the Alter Ben Tanya, the Eibishter chooses us. What is it choose? I mean, we have a nefesh elikis. The rest of the humanity doesn't have a nefesh elikis. So what's the choice? What is choosing? When you choose between two equal things. If it's something that's lechatchila, it's not means of choosing. Says the Alter Ben Tanya, that's mitzad aguf. The Alter Ben says, "Guf adoime b'chumriyos el guf remesoyim." Comes to the body of the Yid is similar to the body of the non-Yid. So when the Eibishter says, "You are my nation," but the bodies, the guf, that's bana b'chal. That says in the Alter Eben the Yosef Kodesh. Nothing Yosef Kodesh in Tanya Perek Mem Chesed. Stam der Chagav, somebody found lately a source of that Alter Rebbe in Alshich. The Alshich, which was the one with the medium Darizal, writes something similar also. The Bchira is the Guf. Stam der Chagav. But what's going to get to us? It's other goofs. Everybody is equal. So that's another point where we see the Matan Torah is similar to Pesach, just like Pesach with Tzias Mitzrayim, everybody equal. So also the Bchira Mitzad Goof is equal. Got in the Shama, you can say there's a higher on the Shama, lower on the Shama. The Goof, the Bchira means it choose. So the choice is equal to everybody. So we see in Matan Torah that aspect too. Then there's a third thing that we see in Matan Torah: every Yid was equal. Shem Havai Shnasav Kolach Yisrael, they are dibur d'ponim v'ponim. Says in Pasuk, ponim v'ponim dibur Havai imachem. The Chassidus is on my mouth. Alter Rebbe look at the Torah Pashas Re'ei. Re'ei anoichin noisen lifneichem hayoim. Chassidus explains Pshat that the Eibishter is mamshach Shem Havai in every neshama. That's what happened with the Torah. Upon him, they baravai imach. Again, I'm not sure why choose to mean this particular expression, but we see that Shavuos, we also have a few aspects of Shavuos which are similar to Yitzias Mitzrayim in the fact that it's independent of our Madrig. There is the Pascha Zamasan, there's the Bchira, and there's the Shem Havai. Okay, but Sukkot, we also have something similar. Adam Yosha B'Zad Sukkot, Ad Chof Ama, Adam Dor B'Tzal Sukkot, Tzil D'Menus. We see that what is Mahamas is something that's a sukkah shegavoya me'esrim ama sula. There has to be ad chof ama. So every person equally, I think that pshat sits in the sale sukkah in the shadow, the shade of sukkah, which is considered tzila as the shadow of faith, which is also a high madriga that's equal by everybody. We call a coin or equal over Pesach. He just said in that concept that everybody gets the same independent of his avodah, we find it in Pesach. Because in what we described about Matan Torah and Sukkot, it's all spiritual things. Number it's all ruchnistic things. Obviously, or even all these are ruchnistic concepts. The concept of Pesach is begashmis. Every Yid left Egypt, left Mitzrayim. So, we see a certain level of equality. Everybody left the same way. So, that idea that like I said before, that that's stolen avodah sodom, that everybody will feel okay. We're talking about everybody's equal. So that aspect we see in Pesach in a much more what is the Peil Mamash. We see it clearly that Pesach was a time that all of us left Egypt. It's not something ruchnik. It's a very down practical thing. Yes, Shloima. Okay, now he jumps back into. So first he described what happened Pesach in Yitzias Mitzrayim, the actual experience of leaving Mitzrayim was equal to everybody left Mitzrayim. That's also Negeya and Avodas Hashem now, that the Gilui Pesach, when we have now in our every year in Pesach, is at such a level of Gilui where everybody is equal. So in other words, it's the independent of our Avodah. But even that, throws the table on us on the other side. First, he said that we find something similar to Pesach in all the Yom Tovim. Now he tells the other side. The truth is Pesach, we just said all along, Pesach is above Avodah. He says, no, the truth is, in Pesach there is Avodah. Lepoil, in Pesach there's also some level of Avodah. Because the Achana to reach that level of the Giluim of Pesach, start Avodah b'Pil Mamish. Bir Chametz, everybody has to burn Chametz. Everybody puts in all his effort to check his house to destroy the Chametz. So that
the Gashmius is a lot harder than Hachana, the Gashmius. I mean, it's than Sefirat Omer or nothing like that. I think big goof.
Yeah, it's a good point. He describes what happens at Pesach. Because, like I said, this Maimah was said Pesach, and so he describes the Jewish experience of the days before Pesach. Number one, we work very hard to get rid of Hametz. And that's the somera. Mitzvahs matzah. Then the say type. Ribi dikdukim ma'oid. You put a lot of dikdukim. She betachlis eichsho. The matzah should be perfectly kosher. Betachlis sahida ve'rochik ma'oid meizach shashchim. As v'shol. Kol ze. Hu mitzad ha'ira sheyor ma'oid l'nafshay. Shloiroi v'leimotze eizne masha chomet. All this is a result of the Iras Shamayim, Iras Chet. He doesn't want it should be any Mashal Chometz. Shtei Matzah K'tikun. Hariz Achon Benefesh that is there. Tibel Mamish Me'afus V'chesh Hakliv V'Zachman Esan Acheros V'Lo Yirgod. Now, how does this? I mean, this is a fact, right? That's what happens. Space. Now, how does this fit the message of this entire Maimon? But she's still in the middle of saying that Pesach is above Avoid. Pesach is above. He doesn't articulate it so clearly. But I think what it does, the reason it brings this point is just to show that just like the Tzia Milmaila, the Gila Milmaila, is B'Peil Mamish, affects real reality, it affects the reality in a way that all Eden left Egypt. That's not some spiritual experience. It was a real physical thing. So it shows how in the Avodah that we have to be Mekayim in the midst of Pesach, of Chometz and Matzah. It also affects our actual behavior. I think later in the Hemshech, we will get after. Remember the beginning of the. Let's not forget the beginning of the Maimah. There's a Hemshech. They asked the question that the Matzah has two aspects to it. There's a part of it which is a result of Ispik Tzekes Lachmitz, which is a result of the Gil Milmaila, and there's another aspect of the Matzah which is Shmartem es Matzah Shalei Yavadi Dechim Matzah Shekenim Chatzos. So eventually, when we finish the whole discussion, we'll have clarity. What are the two aspects? Now, while discussing the other aspect, the dilug, which is like Nigel Alei Melech HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Atzmai B'Atzmai, he brings in the other side that's totally by the side. But hopefully we'll have clarity when we finish the whole discussion. What is in here, just for that particular point, how we see that the fact that the Metzias Mitzrayim affects everybody is reflected also in the Avodah of our Avodah, what we do at Pesach, that everybody actually is invested physically in cleaning the ass of chametz, making sure the matzah is kosher. That's the word in the Chagah. The way it's part of the big picture will hopefully be clear when we finish this whole discussion. I know, but now he goes back. Okay, so that like a lot of times, like we already experienced it in the parentheses in the memory, he brings in something which contradicts what he says in the middle. Just bring out a point. But now we're going back to the original discussion. What was the discussion? The Pesach is different than the other Yom Tovim. All the other Yom Tovim, it depends on Avodas Hashem. Pesach, he started saying, is all milmayla. Ba'ayno, so that's going back. Ba'ayno, Chag Pesach moved them mizeh mikol hameyadim. It's different. The Chag Pesach is different from the other two Yomim Tovim, Sukkot and Shavuos and Sukkot. Shagil der Sof v'Abiyah ad l'Sham Yisrael lemata ein abal der asman afer halog sham. That the Gilui Elikus that happens in Shavuos, in our first of all, even in the higher islands, the Matzilus, and also in our world, the experience that we experience Shavuos, Pesach is not Alidei Alas Man Leferach Halok Shalom Hayadim. It's not compared to the way it's in other Yom Tovim, which is a result of the Avodah. Elo Nimshach Nizgil Mitzad Atzmik Chafetz Chesed. It comes directly as a result of Gilead because he desires to be kind and benevolent. Not a result of our avoid. We just said there's bir chametz, but here he's talking about in as far as I think spiritual preparation. There's no specific spiritual preparation for Pesach. K'may sfir saydam shekenu Chag HaShavuos. For Shavuos, it's sfir saydam. K'may yatzar sayid Shuva Chag HaSukkos. V'aynu v'shepesach Chag HaPesach Amshocha P'nes Yisrael Leilam Tzadatz. Because Pesach, the Amshocha is Yisrael Leilam Tzadatz. V'zeh shnika Pesach Hashem Psicha V'Adil. This
But
is
he
the
just
concept.
said there is a bigger Aved, a bigger Achone. Just
What?
now he said that in Pesach, the Achone from Bir Chometz and Dikdukim, B'mitzvahs.
Okay. I just asked that question that you're asking. Yeah, okay. So, but what it says, as far as look, Bir Chometz, let's think about it. Bir Chometz. It's just a practical achon. It's a practice. It's not. We're talking about spiritual preparation. What happens again? What happens? Yom Tov, according to Chassidus and Kabbalah. Yom Tov in Kabbalah. There's a Gilead key. There's a godly experience, spiritual experience, right? So the operation of the spiritual experience of Shavuos, person has to refine himself spiritually to in Tzvira Saima. Every day say Chesed, Chesed, B'Mevar the Mid. Similarly, Sukkot, which is also a high spiritual Gilead, the preparation of the Aseres Tshuva, which is also a spiritual experience. Bir Chometz is not a spiritual experience, it's a technical thing. You have to make sure there's no Chometz. So it's not, I mean, it's not the same thing. It's a different, basically there's a mitzvah of Pesach, you're not allowed to have Chometz at home, so you clean your house from Chometz. But the Giluyim of Pesach, the Gilui Eliki, the spiritual experience that we are experiencing in Pesach, there's no Chana Ruchnis. A person doesn't have to prepare himself spiritually for Pesach. That's a simple shot. Obviously, there's more to it. That's the difference between Chometz and Aseres Tshuva and Tzvira Saima. Because we're not talking about the fact that you should be able, in order to be able to eat matzah, you have to bake the matzah. That's a very practical, technical preparation. In order you should be able to actually be clean, you have to clean it before Pesach. We're talking about spiritual preparation for Gilim Ilamayim. In Pesach, we don't find it. We don't find it before Pesach. Person has to, I mean, Pashtus, according to this, the dry Allah, not just Allah. Doesn't say anywhere that before Pesach you have to do some kind of spiritual preparation. The male can steer it, but there's more to it. That is why Pesach is called, like we said, it's called Pesach. Like we had the question at the beginning, guys. The fact that the Amos skip the houses of Nei Yisrael doing Makas Pcheres is like it's like a very important part. But like I said, we find it in other Makas also. When the other Makas, we also find it. The didn't affect the Eden, only affected the mitzvah. So how come when it comes to Makas Pcheres, the fact that Pesach ala Pesach, that became the name of the Yom Tov. It's just a minor side experience. Why is that? Why is the entire Yom Tov called Pesach? So that's the answer. The answer is the Pesach ala Pesach is an expression, something much deeper, which means because in the time of Pesach, B'Chatzi Alayla was a very high level of Isgalus. One of the expressions of that Isgalus is Pesach ala Pesach. That's the concept. The way it's called Pesach, because Pesach is a Gila Milmayla Shaloi B'Adog, not gradual. Okay, all right, we'll continue tomorrow. I see we're starting late again. I'm ready earlier. If you want to come earlier, I'm fine. So it's up to you. I'm ready about 7 o'clock. We'll start maybe when there's a few people. All right.
All right, let's try.
Okay.
Shkoyach.